Welcome to Living Marvelously with me, Laurie Jonas. This is the show where we unleash the marvelous potential in every woman. Are you ready to dream big and leap into a life you love? Don't let the expectations of others choose for you. Step out of your comfort zone and learn how to create what your life looks like. I'll take you on an inspirational journey, helping you tap into the wellspring of your inner strength, get clear on your life purpose, and unleash the vision you came into the world to share. On Living Marvelously, you will learn about personal development, self-care, and spirituality. And together, we will connect with others, sharing their unique energies, and learn to create a world that allows everyone to shine. Living Marvelously starts now.
Hello. Today I want to talk about something a little bit different than I've been talking about, although it still applies, same principles. I want to talk about challenges. Do you feel overwhelmed by life's challenges? You know, it can be hard to face up to difficult circumstances, but the truth is, what challenges you can be a great opportunity to grow and learn. And by taking the time to really understand and overcome challenges, you can gain invaluable insight into your life and yourself. I'm Laurie Jonas, and you're listening to Living Marvelously with Laurie Jonas on Transformation Talk Radio. So stay with me for the next 30 minutes as we discuss embracing challenges. And be sure to join me every second and fourth Thursday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, where we will have some great discussions on how to create your fun, adventurous, empowering, loving, and beautiful life. So when challenges come up in your life, what do? Do you get mad? Do you get frustrated? Maybe you give up? Or do you look at the challenge as a sign that you are maybe going the wrong way, or you have something else to learn? You know, challenges and roadblocks can come in many different forms. They can be, failures on your part, where things were not working the way you want them to, or things are thrust upon you by someone else. So I want to talk about how I believe that we all came into this life on earth with a mission to experience something we haven't experienced before. And the clues that our soul or inner spirit gives us to what that might be is when we feel inspired to do something, or when we pay attention to what truly makes us happy. That is going to be different for everyone because we are all on our same path. I know you know that the person sitting next to you, or anybody in your family, or your coworkers or friends, or even, people that you look up to, all have a different path. They're all here for a different reason. They all have unique skill sets and gifts that are different from anybody else, and it's theirs to share in this lifetime. And the roadblocks and challenges that come up when we veer from our path, or if we need a little nudge in another direction, are essential. And it's up to us to notice them and pay attention to what the universe is trying to tell us. And if we ignore it, we're only going to get a larger challenge until we see the meaning. So let me give you a couple examples. The first one is, I heard this somewhere and I just thought it made sense, although I can't relate to it because I am not a runner. However, let's think about a runner. They love to run. They're training for maybe their first marathon, but their knee keeps bothering them. And they're like, oh, shoot. Okay, I'm just going to have to ice it after this run. I'm going to keep running. But their knee still keeps bothering them. I'm going to go get a cortisone shot. But that helps for a little while, and then they keep running because they have this goal in mind that they are going to accomplish this marathon or half marathon or whatever it is. And they're not paying attention to this challenge, this roadblock that keeps coming up. And if we don't listen to it, and maybe this runner needs to just take a break and heal before they continue. But if they don't, it's just going to continue to get worse and worse and worse until they need surgery and they'll never run again. And then they think that they're a failure. But really what they were doing, what was happening was they were getting this little nudge that says, either you're running wrong, we need to try something different, or you're not meant to be a runner. You're meant to be doing something else, and you need to pay attention and do something else. Another example is something that a personal example that happened not too long ago. We have a 10-year-old golden retriever who we love. And we had talked about, my husband really wanted another dog. And so he talked about getting a puppy. And I was very adamant that I do not want a puppy in my life. I'm done with puppies. I'm too old to do another puppy. I'm finally at a stage in my life where I'm doing the things that I really want to do and taking control. And a puppy is really going to set me back. That's not on my life path. Well, we had this opportunity to go to Florida where this family we stayed with had golden retriever puppies who were beautiful. And of course, my husband fell in love, but I repeated over and over, we are not getting a puppy. They contacted him saying, are you still interested in a puppy? And my husband thought, well, I'm going to surprise her. So he brought home a puppy. And I was not happy about that. That surprise was not a welcome surprise. And so we took a while, like I'm trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do? Is this puppy really going to be a part of our life? And am I going to change my path to suit what he wants in his life? Lots of conversations, lots of things happened. We talked a lot about it. And what happened was we decided that it was not a good thing for us to have a puppy in our life. This roadblock came up. We talked about it and we decided that we were not going to raise a puppy. And we rehomed this puppy to a beautiful family. And this puppy is going to live a beautiful life. And I can't wait to see her every once in a while. But I want to share that because this was a challenge. And what it showed me is that I can speak up for what I want. And what I hope it showed us as a couple is that we really need to listen to each other. And then I think it showed my husband that he needs to pay more attention to other people in his life when he is making decisions. But that's really his story to figure out. So I can't do that for him. But again, it's another challenge. It's a roadblock. We pursued it. And now on the other side of that, I'm even more excited about pursuing this path that I'm on and not letting roadblocks interfere. And our relationship has changed. Our relationship is different because we now know we have to listen to each other. We have to give and take. There are give and takes on both sides. So think about some of the challenges you have endured in your lifetime and how long did you let them hold you back? Let's take a different approach to challenges, because they happen to teach you something. And every challenge that you encounter, it really brings with it gifts. I love that when I'm preparing for my shows, I always come across articles or emails that will help me. And the other morning, I opened up an email from Andy Dooley, and he said this: the next time life throws you a curveball or contrast, remember to stay calm, look for the opportunity, and manifest a solution like a boss. I really love that. And I love Andy Dooley. And if you haven't heard of him before, look him up because he's got just some crazy energy with manifestations that can be, maybe it's your way to really understand how all that process works. But we need to take responsibility for these challenges that do come up and use them to make our life better. In my book, The 5 L's of Living Marvelously, I wrote a chapter on overcoming challenges, and I had given some examples of other people that have also done it. And so you may have heard of a few of these, but let me just go through them. So Stephanie Meyer, the author of the Twilight series, was rejected 14 times before someone finally said yes to publishing her book. Similarly, J.K. Rowling of Harry Potter fame was rejected 12 times before publication. And Henry Ford failed 5 companies before he founded the Ford Motor Company. And Lucille Ball, who just you'd think was an immediate success, right? But her first films were failures. And she was even dubbed the queen of the B-roll, of the B movies in the 1930s and 1940s. But luckily, she went on to star in I Love Lucy, and she really paved the way for women entertainers. Katy Perry was dropped by 3 record labels before landing with Capitol Music and recording I Kissed a Girl. And Bill Gates dropped out of college and failed at his first business. And a producer in Baltimore fired Oprah Winfrey because she was unfit for television. She also endured childhood abuse, and we all know what kind of a life she created for herself. And Walt Disney came from a life of poverty and was fired once for his lack of imagination. And in all of these cases, each person learned something from their failures and challenges and used it to keep going. What if they would have given up? I'm sure you can find many examples from less famous people than these, but I want to share one more because there are challenges, like everyday challenges, and then there are some really big challenges. And one of my friends from book club went to listen to a speaker the other day. It was a mother whose ex-husband killed their 3 children. Now that is horrific and traumatic, and I don't know how anyone could survive that, but she did. Jessica Peterson now speaks up for her 3 daughters, Amara, Sophie, and Cecilia, in her new book to bring light out of the darkness. Here are a few quotes from her. "The darkest moment in my life is when I lost them, and each step I take from there is trying to bring more light into the world to fill what was lost." Isn't that amazing? Here's another one. "Trying to really show that these horrific and hard things can happen, and you can respond to them with a little bit of grace and a lot of hope." Now, wow, if she can come out of that kind of darkness into this light, think of how many people she can hopefully help. But our challenges do not have to be that heavy to make a big difference in our life. So let's get to those 7 steps, 7 tips to help you overcome and embrace the challenges that do come your way. The first one is don't give up, right? We talked about this already, about the other people who we gave examples of, how they did not give up, they pursued. So if you feel passionate about something, don't let anyone else sway you from believing in it. Keep bulldozing through the obstacles that get in your way. There's, for me, not giving up, I've been with Living Marvelously. I started Living Marvelously 6 years ago. And, there've been a lot of roadblocks along the way. There's been myself roadblocks for fear. There's been trying to put things out there and not getting any responses. There's been other people who have, swayed me to say, you can't really do this. But I'm passionate about it. And Living Marvelously is something that I feel really good about, and I'm not going to give up. It means I have to do some more learning. There's a lot of things to do, but that's the number one thing, is you just can't give up if you feel passionate about it. Don't compare yourself to others. You've heard this before. Don't compare your beginning to someone else's end. For me, going back to my example with my blog and Living Marvelously, when I started my blog, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make money. All these things, this beautiful life is going to happen because I've seen how other people have done that. But in year 1 for me, I'm looking at people who are probably in year 10. And it takes a while. You have to go through a lot of ups and downs to get there. So don't compare where you are today to where somebody else is, who have been through a lot more. So before you compare yourself to anyone else's success, really take a closer look at how long it took them to get there and how many challenges they had to overcome. So take your own path, use your unique skills and abilities, because only you know how to make your dreams come true. You have these gifts, you have these abilities that no one else has. And again, going back to your path is going to be different from anyone else's because you are different. Your soul is different. You came here with a different mission. And all those things, those gifts, those talents, the things that really bring you pure joy are what are going to make you successful. The next one is to stay positive. And we're going to talk a lot more about this, but staying positive by being aware of your unpleasant emotions and your limiting beliefs. So staying positive is, having a challenge greet you. Like, for example, having the puppy come into our life. I was trying to stay positive about it because, like I said, she was a beautiful puppy and was very loving. And I was ready to embrace that challenge until we talked it out and decided it wasn't the right thing. But staying positive helped us to do that. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to continue with these 7 tips. I want to talk about how we can really rewire our brains to help us overcome more challenges. So I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. We're back on Living Marvelously with me, Laurie Jonas. But before we continue, I want to invite you to check out my website, livingmarvelously.com, and the products and services that are available there. And if you would like some help on learning to embrace the challenges in your life, check out my life and spiritual coaching page. I'd love to help you figure out how to create that life that is resilient and that can really overcome those challenges. Okay, let's continue our discussion. We were on staying positive. And one of the things about staying positive is to really paying attention to some of those limiting beliefs that you have ingrained in you. Some of those limiting beliefs that you may have been taught as a child and have just continued, and you just haven't flipped to them because you aren't aware that they were limiting you, right? So what are you telling yourself that really might not be true? Is it, I'm not good enough? I need to fix myself first. It's just too hard. I'll never figure this out. Again, with my journey, I am still doing this. In fact, just this morning, I went and created a new affirmation to put on my desktop computer that says, let me read it to you. I release any limiting beliefs about money and embrace my unlimited potential. I'm always looking for new beliefs that flips maybe some of those negative limiting ones that I keep in my head. So instead of the ones that I just read, let's change. Here's just some examples of some different ones that we can use. So instead of I'm not good enough, let's say I am beautiful and I am prepared, willing, and ready to create the life of my dreams. Instead of I need to fix myself first, how about I am perfect just the way I am. I take care of myself and I love who I have created. Instead of it is too hard, how about life is easy. Life is happening for me. I am willing to accept and allow all this goodness into my life. And I'll never figure this out. How about I have everything I need to get to where I need to be or where I want to be. Everything is inside me. All I have to do is allow it to be transformed and manifested into the life of my dreams. So try those on for size instead and see if it changes your life. Again, with limiting beliefs, there's so much to talk about with those, but it's really once you create something that feels good to you and you repeat it over and over and over again, it really does change the neural pathways in your brain. You start to believe it. And then the key is you have to start to feel it. You have to start to feel that those things are true. And that's when manifestations occur. It's not just sort of faking it and saying, okay, I'm good enough. It's really embodying it, feeling it, acting the part. That's when you're going to feel those and see those manifestations. All right, moving on. Let's be okay with changing course. Don't be afraid to fail. I don't know if you are familiar with human design. I'm sure some of you are, but human design has really changed the way I look at my own life. And I am a sacral generator with a 1-3 profile, which means that I am meant to go out and learn all kinds of things, but the things that really draw me in, I need to go out. I'm supposed to go out and learn all those things that bring me joy. And right now I'm really interested and intrigued with spirituality. So I'm learning just everything I can. And here I am trying to share it with you, sharing it with you. That's the 1 in my profile. The 3 is don't be afraid to fail. It means use what you've learned, find ways to share it. Some of those ways are going to be successful. Some of those ways are not going to be successful, but you need to do it anyway. And then you learn from those failures. And that's what we're talking about here. It's really embracing what happens and learning from it. When you fail, it means you've tried, and maybe that wasn't the right path. Maybe you have to change your course a little bit, or you have to find new ways to look at old problems. Or it may just be possible that it's time to move on. Whatever you're working on, maybe it has taken its course and it's time to switch. Now, I know with Living Marvelously, that's not the case, because as a sacral generator, my gut is telling me that there is more that's going to happen with Living Marvelously. My passion has not gone out. It's not time to move on, but that sometimes that may be the case. The next one is take responsibility for what's going wrong. You are the creator of your life. There is no one else to blame. Sometimes we're always looking outside of ourselves for someone else to fix our problems. But come back within yourself. Come back within and try to listen. Try to pay attention. Where was I when something got triggered and went off course? What was that trigger? What was that one thing that really created this roadblock? And pay attention. Like, how do you find some resiliency? How do you find some tricks and tools to not let that trigger come up again, or you'll be prepared to handle it? You know, no one else can control how you think about yourself and your dreams. So take responsibility for challenges that come up and be aware of how you can change your mindset about them. Learn to deal with adversity. I read an article about overcoming adversity on the Essential Life Skills website. It said this, cultivate faith, courage, and resilience. The more of these qualities you possess, the lesser the impact of the adversity. When you respond positively and constructively to your biggest challenges, the qualities of strength, courage, character, and perseverance emerge deep inside you. The more you practice, the easier it will be to overcome challenges. So keep practicing those ways to cultivate faith, courage, and resilience. And finally, the last tip here is to celebrate the good. Be grateful for where you are right now. Celebrate all the small successes and dreams that have already come true in your life. When we fixate on one problem and let it affect our whole life, it just attracts more problems. Break out of the funk and find the good in your life. Instead of focusing on what's going wrong, find the things that are going right, and then that will expand into those things that are going wrong and push them away. It'll push them out. I have a freebie on my website called Marvelous Milestones Journal. And in it are journal prompts to remember all of the wonderful things you have done in your life, all of the challenges you have already experienced and overcome. Because when you see what you have already accomplished, you will have more courage to go out and accomplish more. I want to thank you for being here with me today. I hope you gained some insight on how to accept some challenges in your life, how to overcome those challenges, and how to really embrace failure, because life is going to be ups and downs. And instead of letting those downs keep you stuck, let's climb our way back out. So thank you for tuning in. This radio show, it truly makes me happy. And this is one way that I am using my unique skills to share with the world and to create my path. Next time on Living Marvelously, I want to talk about the why, when, what, and how to journal. It's one of my favorite topics, and I want to share how it can be easy for you too. So we will see you next time, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for listening to Living Marvelously with me, your host, Laurie Jonas. Tune in next time to unleash the marvelous potential in every woman, every second and fourth Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com as I help you choose a life that you are passionate about. Learn to embrace your unique self, dream big, and leap into what you choose to have your marvelous life look like. Together we create a world that allows everyone to shine. For more information, visit livingmarvelously.com. That's livingmarvelously.com. See you next time on Living Marvelously.